You are listening to the Workbench After Hours podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to the Second Amendment, where we talk about firearms, everything going on in the gun community, and we even try a different whiskey every week.
In this week's episode, we discuss the city of Chicago suing Glock over the problems they are having with Glock switches being used by criminals. An elementary school student was also told to take her come and take it off hat during a hat day at school. A judge also ruled that Anti-2A groups can now sue social media platforms over mass shootings. That's great. While we talk about this, we try Yellowstone Whiskey Barrel Select.
Welcome to episode 110 of the Workbench After Hours podcast. Chris, what are we drinking?
Yellowstone, I think this is Barrel Select.
Yes.
So we've had Yellowstone before, and it was really good.
Yeah, we tried it, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we liked it. And then as we got more into whiskey, I tried another bottle and didn't like it quite as much. But a liquor store that was by us had these hand-picked bottles, and they had me I tried one while I was there, and I'm like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
And so I bought a bottle. I was going to use it for the podcast, but then we ended up drinking it. And I went to there's a place called Macadoodles now in Missouri, and they had these barrel select ones. So I'm like, ooh.
It'll be interesting.
I tried it. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I think it tastes good. But
102 proof.
Yep. So they do. Yellowstone actually has a thing on their website where they said that they actually did the barrel pick for each store.
Okay.
And so, with this being a barrel pick, each batch is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a single barrel too.
Yeah. So this one, I think the last one was about 102 proof, 51%. So this was specifically for Macadoodles.
When we tried it a long time ago, we liked it. I think we both went through a bottle.
Of the regular Yellowstone?
Yeah, regular.
Yep, I have another bottle in the Globe, but this, for some reason, to me, is a lot better. I don't know if it's because it's the higher proof or what.
You don't smell the proof like I thought I would.
Yeah, 51%.
But you don't smell it.
Yeah. It
smells like your typical whiskey, but it doesn't have that burn. In fact,
No, it's a caramel vanilla.
Yeah.
Get some.
Your charred oak.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too complex in this.
No.
But it tastes really good. But yeah, no, isn't it like noticeably different than the regular Yellowstone?
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
I think the regular one was like 40-something%.
Yeah, this was really smooth. Mm-hmm. It tastes like I wonder how long this one was aged for, because it tastes like an older whiskey that's been aged for a minute.
I'm pretty sure it's the same. It's just
because that's
one barrel.
Really, really smooth.
I know.
Like, wow.
So I don't know what they do for these to make them better. Like they're more expensive. It was like $50.
Yeah.
Which is not too much more expensive than the regular Yellowstone. I think the regular Yellowstone, depending on where you find it, is like 40-ish or so. But this is just so much better.
It says it was barreled in 2018. So I wonder when it was bottled.
So probably, I would say it probably averaged 5 years, maybe
5-6 years or more.
Yeah.
Because wow.
Right.
Yeah.
When I opened that and tried it with Alan, I was like, oh wow, this is
that's smooth.
It's so much better, and that's why I went through the bottle. It is just so much better than the regular. So if you like Yellowstone and have had it, definitely try this.
Yeah.
If you haven't had regular Yellowstone, just get this. Because this is better.
That's really smooth. I'm really quite shocked by how smooth it is. And it doesn't have that burn like you would think.
No. And it's not a complex flavor, so there's not a lot going on.
The back end has a sweetness to it. I'm trying to figure out it's like a toffee almost.
Right.
Like a candy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's good.
Yeah.
I like it. So I highly recommend it if you...
Yeah, I'm really shocked by that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we took last week off because busy with work and trying to catch up with stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was going through last night on a bunch of stuff that is going on. And like always, we're always fighting for our rights, stuff like that. But I came across 3 different topics I wanted to touch on. And one of them, I'm like, I kind of see both sides too.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that one. The first one So, city of Chicago obviously has a crime problem because it's Illinois and they have crazy, stupid gun laws. And so they just, let criminals kind of do what they want. And there was a thing, we did a podcast on this a while ago about Glock switches.
Yeah.
And how these kids are somehow buying them. I think they were getting them on eBay or something. But all these kids were taking TikToks and whatever viral videos of them with full auto Glocks, which I would love a Glock Model 18.
Yeah, I think we all would.
Yeah. But these Glock switches, if you don't know, they actually easily mount to the back of the Glocks, kind of where the slide plate is on the rear. And it's a full auto sear. So it basically makes your semi-automatic Glock a full auto Glock.
Yeah.
And supposedly, I don't know if anybody's tested this, but with the Glock switch installed, it fires 1,200 rounds a minute or 20 rounds in a second. Which, if that is the case, it's faster than the rate of a military M4.
I can't see that. I really can't.
Supposedly. I would love to get a Glock switch, but they are illegal.
Yeah.
It's federally illegal. You'll get in a lot of trouble if you have one. But there's all these kids running around Chicago with these. And when police come on a call with kids with these, there's obviously they're at a disadvantage because they got a full auto Glock. The flip side of that is a full auto pistol is super hard to shoot.
That and to control.
Yes. So you probably got these kids that, one, don't know how to shoot a gun anyway, and they're probably going to shoot it gangster style, and they're probably just pointing and letting it spray all over the place. So
it's probably just spraying up.
Yeah, so yes, that's dangerous for the cop, but that's also dangerous for whoever's around in the vicinity. Yeah. That bullet can travel far and then hit something. So because of all of this, and they have a Glock switch problem, even though it's illegal, but they still do it. I thought criminals followed laws, but I don't know. Well, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently not.
So what the city of Chicago has decided to do is to sue Glock, the manufacturer, for this problem.
It's not their problem, though.
Yes, right? It's ridiculous, and they're actually getting away around this. Is they're creating state laws to circumvent federal laws like the Illinois Firearms Industry Responsibility Act, or the FIRA, that was passed last year. The law allows gun manufacturers to be held accountable for public harm.
I wonder what their police issue sidearm is then. I hope to God it's not Glock.
Right.
Because that'd be funny. They're like, okay, we'll pull your contract.
But
defend yourselves.
So to kind of get all this in the correct facts, I'm going to play this video and then we'll talk about it. And this is what the city of Chicago is doing with their Glock switch problem.
The city of Chicago and a gun safety group file a lawsuit against gun manufacturer Glock, claiming the pistols the company makes endanger Chicagoans.
Experts say Glock's pistols can easily be converted into illegal machine guns.
What we allege in this case is that they know they could fix the problem, but they have made a corporate decision not to in pursuit of additional sales and additional profits.
The city of Chicago alleging Glock has failed to take any meaningful action to fix how easily its guns can be modified. From the start of 2021 through the end of 2023, the city says more than 1,100 modified Glocks were recovered by Chicago police. Machine gun conversion devices, or auto sears, allow users to toggle between semi and fully automatic firing modes. They're illegal under federal law and go by a handful of names, including Glock switches. Despite that, they're not made by the manufacturer.
You look at other handguns by major manufacturers, they require pretty sophisticated engineering that most civilians could not do.
According to the filing, modified Glocks have turned up at the scenes of homicides, kidnappings, home invasions, carjackings, and other crimes. The lawsuit also cites previous WGN reporting on these conversion devices, including an interview with the ATF's Chicago Field Division, talking about the added danger when they're added to a gun.
It's not simply a semi-automatic firearm now that's being discharged in a public area during a crime. It is a weapon of mass destruction.
The city says it is working hard to get these weapons off the streets while also pointing out the increased risk they pose to both civilians and law enforcement.
There's not a reason a manufacturer can continue to allow weapons like this to haunt communities. We've seen far too many times the number of mass shootings that happen in the city of Chicago. We've also seen those numbers creep up in shootings around the country.
The city's deputy mayor of community safety says it's time to hold the manufacturers accountable as well as the people causing harm.
What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
I think it's BS. It's not Glock's fault for these switches.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to go after Glock, they should go after every other handgun out there because they can all be modified to have that happen.
Right.
It's just not Glock. It's just because it's popular.
And, it's pretty easy if you have the ability to do so, which most of us that have a garage or workshop do, and the right tools. You can make an AR-15 full auto.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Pretty darn easy.
Yeah.
All you need is a drill press and...
I mean, you can buy everything legally.
Yeah.
You just, as soon as you drill that hole and you don't have permission or you don't have the license, you're screwed.
Right.
So,
and then I'm just going to point this out here. That attorney probably never been laid in his life.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, man. He's a dweeb up there just like the ATF
Yeah.
director. But
weapons of mass destruction, though, really.
the rate of fire in that video was pretty fast.
It was fast, but it wasn't 20 rounds in a second.
Right. I don't know.
I guarantee that.
It looks really fun to shoot, though.
Yeah.
I wish I could have one. But, they're illegal.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're going after Glock. Glock isn't selling these Glock switches. They're not made by Glock at all because they're illegal.
You know what? If they're going to do that, Glock should go after whoever's making these for using their name and likeness.
Right.
And suing the crap out of them.
I wonder if there's a way to find out who is making these or
I'm
not.
sure they probably could. It's probably, though, made over in probably China. So
maybe, I don't know.
I don't agree with that. I mean, if you're going to do that, then you might as well start going after automobile manufacturers for them running over people and killing people with airbags and things like that.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, Illinois got that law that allows them to do that, and it's just what they're saying is, and this is the state of Illinois goes for Chicago, is that we're not suing them because the criminals are using their guns. We're suing them because they won't take the steps to make their guns safer.
I mean, they're pretty safe.
Right.
I mean, they're not accidentally discharging like SIGs were earlier. Remember that? When they just drop and they'd fire at you?
But that's just a
semi-auto.
Right.
But still, I mean, any gun can be turned into full auto. It's not hard. Anybody with some type of brain and all of us that have a computer in our pockets can figure something out.
And unfortunately, all this is going to do is, if this keeps happening in more states, pass laws like this to where they can sue the gun manufacturers, ultimately, it's going to put the gun manufacturers out of business and hurts us law-abiding citizens yet again.
And then it's going to turn into us law-abiding citizens turning into criminals because eventually we're going to get sick of it and just make our own. Right. Start manufacturing our own weapons.
Well, we do now. I mean, it's totally legal to make your own weapon.
So
but that's a whole other issue. We've talked about that. But yeah, it's amazing. And then California has something similar to that, to where California states it's a gun advertising issue causing high crime rates, and that's a way that they get around.
Where are they seeing these gun advertisements? I've never seen one.
No, and that's what you hear a lot of the anti-gun groups saying, is that these gun manufacturers and stores and everything have these ads that appeal to kids and shows violence. If you turn on the TV, you don't see any of that.
No, I see stuff about what am I more than anything. You don't think that's a problem with mental health?
Right. A lot of network TV channels will not air anything gun related. Yeah. So that's why you don't see it. Now, if you have there's like a outdoors channel that, has gun series on there, and they advertise, but not everybody has access to that.
Yeah. And a lot of those are usually for hunting purposes or sport, not for what they're talking about.
I forgot what company it was, but they made an ad for the Super Bowl, and it was not allowed to get aired. It was like a cool, I want to say, I don't know if it was Daniel Defense. I forgot who it was, but it was a large company. They made this cool ad, but the networks wouldn't let them air it because it's firearms related.
Yeah, but they let you talk about Budweiser, which is an alcoholic beverage that can cause damage if you get behind a wheel drunk and all that. Like, if they're going to do that, then why can't they have proper gun safety?
And it's not like you're driving down the highway seeing signs for a Glock or any of these manufacturers. So I don't know where they're getting that argument.
I don't either. I've never seen like a legitimate gun commercial or anything.
No. I have on the outdoor channel, but that's it.
Yeah,
that is it.
It's not even really like boom, like showing guns. Really, they like bring up. You can find stuff here at this manufacturer. That's it.
I forgot what the name of the channel is. Maybe it's not at the outdoor.
I think
channel.
it is a sports outdoor because I remember seeing stuff like trying the Winchester certain ammunition for hunting.
Yeah, most of the time they were doing like commercials for hearing protection,
sights.
Yeah.
Usually.
I'm like, that's cool. I mean, it's something I'm interested in. And I think they were showing. Oh, there was an actor. I forget what his name was, but he was like an Italian actor. But he was doing history of guns, like certain guns, and it was pretty cool. It was interesting, but I mean, it's not something that is just on regular TV, and
you see probably more about alcohol and drugs on TV than firearms.
But it's funny that it's just that
argument's retarded.
They're suing Glock because of the Glock switch and the fact that they make their guns too easy to modify.
Every gun's easy to modify.
Yeah,
I mean, shoot. They're going to do that, they might as well go after cars. And then they should go after alcoholic Budweiser and all that. I mean...
It's kind of like the UK now, freaking out about the guns, or knives.
Zombie knives.
It's like, anybody can slap a sticker on there or take a sticker off and do whatever to make it
That's just
nice.
crazy. I think that's crazy. Criminals are going to be criminals. And they said in the thing that they're being found on crime scenes and murder scenes. So that tells you right there, criminals are using it. It's not law-abiding citizens, and it's hurting us.
Right, exactly. That's how all the anti-gun stuff is. They don't specifically go after the criminals. And you know what? Instead of having all the expenses going after Glock for this, because, it's going to be expensive. There's a lot of work.
Up your police force and stuff like that and go after these kids. I mean,
exactly.
Half of them are advertising this stuff on their TikTok or social media. It's not hard to track. Go after them that way.
And how hard could it be to actually, because obviously these kids are getting these online somewhere. How hard is it for a team of officers or somebody that's at a desk to go online and search for these and then figure out where they're being sold and go after those companies or people that are selling them online?
Yep.
Like, why don't you do that instead of going after a Glock? It's not their problem.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. So that's one thing that was on our list, and it's obviously no surprise. It sucks is I really like Chicago. It's cool, but as far as
politics and all that,
and there is a lot of crime there, but as far as like nightlife and like things to do,
there's a lot to do up there.
It's fun there.
Yeah.
But of course I haven't been there in like probably quite a while now. I was there in my 20s.
Yeah. 20s easy.
Yeah. But I liked it. I felt pretty safe. We always stayed a lot of the places we went were on that like Miracle Mile.
Yep.
I worked in Southside Chicago for a while, and I didn't feel the safest, but of course I couldn't carry a gun on me.
Yeah.
And then
oh no, I remember when I was in the Navy, go from sea school up there all the time, and we'd stay out till like 4 o'clock in the morning and nothing would happen. So
right.
It's just crazy.
So I'm gonna switch topics around here. I'm gonna go to our last one because it kind of ties more into what we're talking about right now. And another judge is allowing anti-2A groups to sue YouTube and other social media platforms because of mass shootings.
Oh my God.
So another issue that these companies have no control over, but they're going to be sued. And this is the reasoning that they came up with here.
Now to what could be a precedent-setting legal case. The judge ruling a top mass shooting lawsuit against several social media platforms can now move forward.
The civil suit was filed by the 10 families who lost loved ones in that racially motivated attack back in May of 2022. The lawsuit claiming hateful and extremist content online contributed to the radicalizing the gunmen. Attorneys for the social media companies wanted the case dismissed, arguing they only provide a platform for third-party content and should not be held liable.
The lawsuit that we filed is the first of its kind in the nation to hold social media platforms for a mass shooting.
These social media companies include YouTube, Reddit, and Discord.
We had a very unique lawsuit where we did not sue the social media platforms based upon the speech that was said, but we sued them on manufacturing design or product design, that they're a dangerous product.
It's not only the content that they, quote unquote, users put out there, but the actual product design that encourages these doctrines and ideologies to flourish.
They say the social media platforms cater to the top shooters' racist ideologies.
He was motivated. He learned all of these theories basically on the social media platforms.
Both Reddit and Google YouTube telling me they will appeal and provided statements. Reddit stated hate and violence have no place on Reddit and that its site explicitly prohibits content that promotes hate. Google YouTube saying, we have the deepest sympathies for the victims and families of the horrific attack. And through the years, YouTube has invested in technology, teams, and policies to identify and remove extremist content.
Here's my problem with this whole thing. YouTube is already super strict on anything we post on this channel related to guns. They're already removing a ton of content, and this stuff like this, them getting sued because of this type of stuff, is only going to make it worse.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I would have gone at a different way if I were them.
The attorneys?
Yeah.
How so?
I'd be going after like video games.
Yeah.
Because let's look at Call of Duty, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting guns, you're shooting people. A lot of the time, people are trash talking. I know they've recently gone and like they're not promoting that anymore on Xbox Live, but it was a big thing. Any type of like first party shooter games and all that. A lot of them are rated M for mature, so you have to be 18 to even play the games.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have I been on there where literally it's probably an 8 or 9 year old playing Call of Duty?
And not just Call of Duty. Look at GTA.
Yeah, GTA.
I think
Halo.
I think Grand Theft Auto is way worse
because
of the stuff that you can just go up and shoot. At least in Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, and all that. At least it's like a war zone.
Yeah, but you got people in there talking a lot of smack.
Oh yeah, and they're all kids.
Yeah,
and they kick my butt, and it pisses me off.
It doesn't to me.
But GTA, you can go up, you can beat up anybody on the street, you could shoot anybody on the street.
Go after police, you can.
Yeah. And then there's like things where you basically get a hooker in your car and all this stuff. And I was doing a gameplay, the story mode on GTA 5 or 4, whichever one is out, and like they were saying provocative words in just the storyline and cursing, and I'm like, oh my god, like there are kids, like I curse a lot, but I'm like, this should not be on a video game.
And a lot of these parents don't care; they just buy their kid. That's what they want, just to shut them up.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
that's where
I think a lot of our issues come from. That
it starts there,
because that's a form of bullying. Kids don't know how to deal with it or react to it. The only way they do is by what they've learned in the game, which is to go kill.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you die in the game or kill somebody, you respawn.
Yeah,
you don't respawn in real life.
Yeah, the value for life is just not there anymore.
So, and with YouTube and all these other places, they do have these really strict community guidelines.
They have AI going through all these things and listening and watching, and
like you can't say a certain virus on here. Like we did a very short segment of that certain thing and some shots, and I don't want to know if I say the things that they required you to get, and we got that video taken down because of
the stuff we were saying.
Yeah, and it was like we could hurt people and giving
misinformation and all that, which we weren't. We were just stating our opinion, and we made sure that we let people know we are not medical experts, that we were just stating an opinion on the situation.
But somehow AI scrubbed through it and found that and took it down, and we had to edit that out. And so YouTube especially, I don't know anything about Discord.
I know a little bit about Reddit, but Reddit reminds me more of like Wikipedia. Anybody can, it's like a big chat.
I know nothing about Reddit.
The only reason I do is because like car forums and stuff. I open it up on Reddit and I can do stuff that way.
But it's like there are no videos of mass shootings on YouTube.
Unless they're from news.
Yes.
So are you going to go after the news then for showing this stuff?
Exactly. And they're probably like thinking they're getting sucked into these cults like things. None of that is on YouTube.
No, it's going to be on like forums and other social media sites.
Because YouTube is super strict on their guidelines, and even outside of guns, they're strict on a lot of other things too.
What you can and can't say. And,
and that's a whole different topic. But why that? And it's they said it's not because of whatever. It's because of their platform and
So your freedom of
the way it's
speech,
built.
which is your First Amendment, they're trying to take that away from you. That's pretty much what they're trying to do.
Yeah. So again, kind of like Glock, where it's the manufacturer's fault because they make it too easy to modify that gun. The attorney said that they're suing these companies because of the way they built the system.
Yeah.
And you can. It's just getting.
This world's getting crazy.
It is.
Like, almost wish or we have an EMP, just take out all the electronic stuff.
Like
and
everybody's
start from
so
scratch.
sue happy. Like, come
Yeah.
on, just these kids aren't seeing all this stuff on. They're not binge watching murder stuff on like How to Kill People on YouTube.
No.
Look at the movies that are out. Look at the TV shows.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff.
Even like some of the stuff on YouTube, like there's supposed to be kid channels. If you're not paying, like I was listening to one the other day and I was like, whoa, what did they just say? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
And I had to go back. I was like, oh, no. I had to like delete it and try to hide it. Because I was like, they shouldn't be saying that on a kid's channel.
Oh, they're super strict on those kids channels.
Yeah, but like
What
I
is
was
what is it about?
lot lizards and things like that.
A what?
Lot lizards.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, and then cussing like left and right on it. I was like, whoa, this is on a kid's channel.
Surprised it hasn't been taken down.
Yeah,
and YouTube's AI with that is so like there's videos you're like, how is this up?
Yeah,
and then there's ones that why did that get taken down? Like,
yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
It's crazy,
but it's scary as a gun channel because this could cause YouTube to almost probably not post anything gun content. Like,
well, not only that, like knife content, smoking, cigarettes, everything.
So it's like, okay, if they get sued enough, and
eventually they'll just have to get rid of it completely,
yeah,
and there won't be any YouTube.
Well, not. I mean, there'll be YouTube, but my fear is with the gun channels because there's a lot of gun channels, especially the big ones, and there was a lot of content that you could post, but you can't anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
another one that I'm really shocked by is Forged by Fire. Have you watched that? It's an actual TV show.
Yeah, I saw it on the TV show.
But now I've seen a lot of like little clips on YouTube, and they're talking about like, this knife will kill, this sword will kill. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm waiting for that to get taken down.
Probably. I'm sure it's taken down in the UK.
Yeah.
Because the knives are scary over there.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just making it worse for all of us. You know, there's that line where you want to keep content away from, you want to keep bad stuff off of the channel or the platform, but then you also have to skirt the line of free speech.
Yeah, free speech, and then also let's go look at schools and some of the stuff they're teaching.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You want to be a boy or a girl? It's up to you.
Yeah, socialism and communism.
Yes. But I don't see how that would hold up because, I mean, if you look at YouTube's guidelines, they are so strict.
Yeah, and every year they're getting updated and stricter, sometimes quarterly.
And I think, what is Discord? Is that the one where you stream games, like video games, or no? Or is
no,
that
that's
Twitch?
Twitch. That's Twitch.
Gotcha. I wonder if Twitch is involved in that too.
I'm
because,
sure.
I mean, if you're, again, like you're saying, you probably have these kids that are streaming games or watching people stream games of GTA 5 or Call of Duty, killing all these, in these video games, and yeah, it's not just what's on these social platforms; it's
what they're actually doing and entertaining themselves with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in.
So that, unfortunately, is a big issue, and it scares me as a gun channel because.
Yeah.
At what point, and I probably see this happening down the road sometime, hopefully not, but them just saying anything gun related, not allowed on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. I really am.
Yeah. And Facebook is super strict with that.
Yep.
Instagram is super strict. TikTok. Like I did a TikTok several years ago, the last time we went to the gun range, and just showing us packing up for the gun range and driving there and stuff, and they took it down. I'm like, I didn't show shooting anything. I was just doing this cool like little montage thing of us getting ready for the range, and they're like, it's
against their guidelines.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that's something to watch. I'm sure that case is gonna drag on forever too, but
Yep.
I'm sure more of these anti-gun groups are going to find other ways to continue to sue those social media platforms. And yeah, I don't know. It might not be good because everybody seems to be anti-gun these days and
being American, pretty much.
Yeah.
The way I look at it.
So if that wasn't bad enough, so another kind of a thing to do with another court ruling and stuff like this. But this is the one I see both sides. So initially I was mad. I'm like, that's BS. But then I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, all right, in today's world, probably shouldn't do that. But there's a lot of other people doing videos on this recently. And the judgment's already gone through. So this is something that happened in like a year or two ago, but it's all just finally being released. But this has to do with an elementary school girl that was in 3rd grade at the time. And, you know, schools have hat days and stuff like that. And I always loved hat days because you get to wear a hat in school. Which, when I went to college and you could wear a hat, I'm like, wow, this is weird.
Yeah.
Cool. But so in Michigan, a 3rd grade girl wore a hat on Hat Day.
Okay.
It was a ball cap. It was black. And specifically, what the school had a problem with is on the front of the ball cap in white embroidery was an AR-15 and then the "Come and Take It" slogan. So it was an AR-15 that said "Come and Take It" underneath. Right? The school obviously did not like that. The school told her to take it off, citing concerns of violence and disruption in the school. And they called the dad and would ask if he would bring her a different hat. And he said no.
Good for him.
So, yes. So the father didn't like this whole thing. And because the school basically wouldn't let her wear that hat because it insinuated violence. And I guess something to do with this school. And there were kids that were from another school that had a shooting incident were here. And they're like, oh, it's going to remind them of that. But the father ended up filing a lawsuit against the school, saying it was in violation of free speech, the daughters. Yeah. And unfortunately, we'll get to this, but the judge ended up backing the school. Which, you know, I guess I was surprised, but then once you think about it, I'm not surprised. But, and the student understood the meaning of the slogan and the history behind that and supports the right to keep and bear arms. And the elementary school kid enjoyed shooting sports and all that. So that was all in the complaint saying that, you know, my daughter knows how to shoot. She's pro 2A and all this stuff and freedom of speech. She wanted to wear this hat. And the lawsuit also states that the student chose to wear that hat. So it's a hat she picked out.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the area school district argued that they have a dress code. Anything printed on clothing must not be offensive in any way. Of course, I'm sure if it was LGBTQ plus whatever, that would have been fine.
Nope.
Even though they're stuffing that.
I find that offensive.
Exactly. But because this had a gun in it or had something in our history in it, it was offensive. But some examples are words or slogans that advertise illegal substance, words or slogans that are racially or religiously offensive, violence themes, vulgar or sexual innuendo, and it kind of goes on. And, you know, they basically said this doesn't go with our dress code.
So how many kids probably were wearing football hats or NFL teams?
I have no idea.
Probably quite a few, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they could technically get them on violent theme because you are hitting for sport.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened to all those kids?
Nothing.
Interesting.
Nothing. But women, I'm sure, of course, at elementary school, I don't know. I don't have kids, but who was what? Maybe I guarantee you, somebody was probably wearing a
NFL team or
flag
something.
hat, like the rainbow hat.
I'm sure.
Which, I mean, that's
offensive. That's
some
religious.
That's
a religious thing too.
Yeah, but so the principal had some quotes in the lawsuit that I thought were kind of funny, and one of them is, "Well, it has a weapon on it," and the phrase, "Come and take it." I took that as threatening The phrase itself seems like it's trying to incite someone to come and have an altercation to take the weapon. Really? Wow. We're in an elementary school setting, and it's a gun-free zone. And I didn't feel that any type of weapons are appropriate in the school setting or anything that suggests violence. Guns often suggest violence.
Okay.
So that was his phrase. And it's like, okay, so you're scared of the phrase.
Scared of the phrase, and you're scared of a picture.
Right. So clearly he also doesn't know the history of the come and take it
so
thing.
I'm pretty sure he probably has a problem with don't tread on me.
Right. Yeah, probably. They all do.
Yeah.
And then he also said, well, other than that, we have students that attended Robert Kerr. Is that Kerr or Carr?
Kerr.
That had moved from Oxford. And they had conversations with parents. And those students were receiving counseling and social work support to deal with the trauma. I guess there was a school shooting there. And so they came over from that school. And so I get that. So with all the school shootings we have, it's a picture of an automatic weapon. False.
Yep.
And I think wearing the hat would or could disrupt the educational environment. So anything that is involved in from that classwork, if they're taking the test that day, it could have impacted if kids were uncomfortable. But were they?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, I
if I
guarantee
saw
a lot of
LGBTQ,
kids,
I'd be uncomfortable, and I would.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, unless you interview the kids, how do you know?
Yeah.
I guarantee you none of the kids thought twice about it.
no, probably like, oh, it's a cool hat. I bet you.
Probably. I'm like, hey, yeah, cool. If it wasn't a teacher or principal that would have said something, I bet you nothing would have been no big deal. It's a hat. Okay. I guarantee a lot of those elementary school kids, nobody would have said anything.
Yeah.
How is it? How? I don't know, but
Man,
how would that affect somebody from taking a test
I don't think it would.
or learning? Like, just don't look at the. It's like anything. Like, you find this offensive, well, stop looking.
Yeah.
Stop watching it. Look away.
The problem is we have all those Terminator Karens and stuff that want to go after that shit.
Yes. And so he also said, I respectfully appreciate individual rights as a citizen. However, those do not supersede school rules. Our handbook states that we want to ensure our students are safe and not distracted from learning atmosphere in a classroom. The hat in question had a picture of an AR-style weapon. Oh, not an automatic weapon now. In front of it. Weapons of any kind are not appropriate for students to wear in a school setting. So obviously, initially I was upset with that, and then unfortunately the judge basically sided with the school, saying that each school has its own code, and
Okay, so
they weren't violating anything. And
so if they've got kids that have trauma from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have an SO officer inside that school? Wouldn't that cause trauma?
right, and a physical gun,
Having a physical gun, an actual weapon in a gun-free zone,
right?
cause that trauma too? Like, let's look at the big picture here. You're going after a picture, but there's an actual physical weapon probably in that school, if not several, because scissors are considered a weapon, knives are considered a weapon. I'm sure a lot of classes probably have scissors.
Yep. But unfortunately, the judge said that back to school saying that they can set rules to keep things running smoothly, and messages can be seen as threatening, especially in a gun-free zone. And in their handbook, they had all that. So unfortunately, the girl is now in 5th grade, and whatever. But yeah, unfortunately, it said they weren't breaking any amendment rules or anything, but to keep kids safe, they had this code. And so basically, the father lost that lawsuit.
That's sad, but I don't know. They want you to learn the Constitution, but yet they don't want you to practice your constitutional rights.
Right. I mean,
so you're not practicing what you're preaching.
So initially, I disagreed with that whole thing, but then I was sitting here thinking about it. It's like, okay, a lot. I get it from their side too.
I do, but if they're going to sit there and say this one thing promotes violence, when you got kids wearing probably NFL teams, that's a sport that promotes violence. They want you to hit people and hurt people. So that promotes violence there. So if you're going after this one hat, then you should get rid of all of them then.
I don't think you'll ever win that argument.
I'm just saying.
But so take the gun off and
come take it.
Say maybe it just either says come take it or it has the original, like the cannon. You think that would have been a problem?
I don't know.
I wonder if it's because it was specifically an AR-15 on that picture. That was a problem. Obviously, there's been AR-15s used in school shootings. Terrible.
Yeah.
Should not happen. So I get that fact that, as a parent, I would probably have the decency to be like, don't wear an AR-15 on any piece of clothing.
Let's say you wore a hat that says "Make America Great Again."
Right. We don't know.
Yeah.
That's one thing we don't know what would have happened. It's just with that specific hat with the AR-15 on it was the issue.
That, or how many? I know a lot of us when we're older, like they have fishing hooks on their hats.
Mm-hmm.
Any of those kids have a fishing hook or anything like that? Bottle opener?
I doubt it.
You never know, depending where it's at.
Right.
If it's in a rural country area, they might have one.
But yeah, I think it's like, all right, in today's world, probably shouldn't be wearing anything with an AR-15 on it in an elementary school anyway. I get that. But at the same time, I see our side of it too.
Yeah.
So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yep.
Kind of a thing, you know.
Sucks that it happened.
Yeah.
Been funny if it was a "Do Not Tread on Me." I would laugh my ass off.
And who knows if it was just the "Do Not Tread on Me" with the snake
Yeah.
and not a gun in it. Maybe that who knows if that would have been an issue?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Who knows?
I mean, again with the Trump,
I almost want to start like testing
with the Trump hat. Would anybody have had a problem with it? I'm sure people like teachers would have had a problem with it.
Yeah.
But would she have been asked to remove it? I don't know.
I don't know. See,
maybe you should send your kid to school with I have a Trump hat if you
so
want.
do I.
Have them wear it.
I'm gonna do that or get make fishing great again.
Do
or
they
hunting?
do they have hat days still?
Oh yeah.
Well, have one of your kids.
That or there's what's this? There's another brand. I had a hat. It's like, "Don't be lambs, be sheep" or something like that.
So next hat day, send one kid with the
"Make America Great Again."
"Make America Great Again" hat, and then send the other kid with the
"Don't Tread on Me."
"Don't Tread on Me." See what happens.
Or a religious one.
You're in a
rural-ish area.
Yeah. So it might not be a problem. But to answer our question of, well, what if?
Yeah.
Try it. See what happens. Your
Yeah,
kids will love it.
Yeah.
I know it. They're like, oh, yeah.
I'm sure they would.
Wear those nice and proud. And I'm sure that, especially with the Trump hat, that'll be some parents, teachers won't like it. But are they going to tell them to remove it?
I got the one that says "Make America Great Again." It's in rainbow color, too.
There you go. I really think you should try this. I mean, it's the only way we're going to
I don't know when the
find
next
out.
hat day is, but I'll figure something out.
Or they can at least wear the hat and take it off once they get into school.
Yeah.
Like wear it out around outside.
Mom's taking them into school, not dad.
So?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll try. I don't know.
You're off on Fridays, right?
I haven't been lately.
Gotcha.
I went back to working 8s.
Well,
4:10 never really worked out because I always had a meeting at like 2:00 in the afternoon on a Friday, so I still had to come in.
Well, next hat. Ask your kids when the next hat day is, and we'll make this happen. I really want to know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
But yeah,
I doubt anything because a lot of the kids in the high school are flying American flags on the back of their trucks, and I would like to see them wear like the Confederate flag and see what happens.
That would probably cause issues
because that's a battle flag.
It is, but I could see how that would definitely cause an issue.
Why? It's not promoting anything. It's just a battle flag for the Civil War. It's a piece of history,
right? But then you're gonna
they teach.
You're gonna have students of color that are gonna get pissed off. Do you have any?
Well, here's the thing. I'll
colored,
turn around and say
teachers in there too.
I don't know.
I'm sure that'll be a real big
here's
issue.
the first thing I'll say is like, you know who the first slave owner was in America, right?
Black person.
Black person. So they don't want you to know that. Did you know that? Here's another crazy stat that only 1% of us Americans were a slave owner. 1% of all of America right now is a slave owner. Think about that crazy statistic.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to wear the Confederate flag or anything like that. I get it's a battle. I'm not going to draw that attention to myself. But I think if you were to send a kid to school with that, it'd be an issue.
That or the Dukes of Hazzard General Lee on it.
Yeah, that probably. Well, yeah.
I don't know. It on there.
Right. But the Trump hat.
Yeah, I'll think of something. I'll find something, see what happens.
I'll try. That'd be interesting. Good. Have your kid bring in a GoPro and just kind of have them
Walk around with it.
Walk around with it. Like kind of hide it on him or have him hide it, but like still keep seeing if he can get people's reactions, like their faces. If anything, maybe, you know, people probably won't even.
I was thinking like during
about
the time we were supposed to be isolated, buying, because Bass Pro had like make hunting and fishing great again, like each one. I was thinking about buying one and walking around town, seeing how many people get pissed off at me.
Probably not.
Well, if they don't pay attention, they'll just, you know how those Karens can be. They don't really pay attention. They just assume.
Yeah. I think you can get more reactions with the Trump hat, honestly.
Yeah, but it was close enough. Make fishing great again.
Right.
If they don't really read and they just see make it whatever great again, they're going to be like,
Well, you got some experiments to try.
I got a bunch, but
yeah. So with On the Rocks, what do you think of this whiskey?
I like it better neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's good.
I like it either way.
It's really smooth.
Yeah, it definitely dumbs it down.
Yep.
On the rocks, like we always talk about. But cool. So before this, we were talking about, you know, for the last, I don't know, 2 years we've had this. Chris is like, oh, I'm going to start a channel. I'm going to start a YouTube channel. Well, he's on another kick to where he keeps saying he's going to do it. Is he going to do it? I don't know.
Coming up with a name, that's the hardest part.
He read off a whole bunch, and one of them was Grease Monkey Garage.
Yep.
And to me, that of the whole list, I like that one the best. His issue is
Gas Monkey Garage.
it's really close to Gas Monkey Garage, but
which could benefit me
exactly
because then everyone like clicks on it and they see that like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, it's gonna take a while to become searchable, but I'm like, all right, let's check. So we got on the Kansas Business Center where you look up business names to see if it's been taken. There was somebody that had a business called Grease Monkey Garage LLC, but they're no longer in business. So for a YouTube channel, I figured, well, if that guy didn't get in trouble having that as a business like name, by Gas Monkey Garage, I'm pretty sure you'll be all right.
Yeah, Grease Monkey.
Worst case scenario, you get a cease and desist letter from Gas Monkey Garage, and you just got to change the name.
But then I'll be in the same boat again. Fuck.
That'd make a good video. Be like, oh, look what Gas Monkey Garage sent me.
I used to like you.
But I don't think so, because, I mean, it's completely different.
Yeah, it is.
Just don't have a monkey that looks like their logo anywhere on there. But
why? It looks like Howlerhead.
Right, it does.
I mean, they're pretty similar.
It is. Yeah.
I'll just have one with, like, big old shades on it.
But I think it'll be fun. I like that one the best.
Okay.
And that leaves you a broader channel to do stuff that way, because he's got BMWs and wants to do stuff with those, but then also other cars. So it's not limiting him to, oh, this is a BMW channel or
opens it up and I can still talk about tools and other things.
You know, honestly, Chris has been talking about this for 2 years, so I'm not giving my hopes up.
Yeah, I've been, I've been like on a kick though lately, like trying not to start some of these projects that I'm doing, just so I could have some type of video content.
Yeah. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to actually
just having to do it. It's like,
just do it.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Just do it.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's the three things we had this week. And on any of those, let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you would send your kid to school with that particular hat or not. I get both sides, honestly.
Yeah, I do too, but protect your amendments, people.
Right. I don't know if I would go through the expense and trouble of filing a lawsuit for that.
I mean, if you have money just to blow, maybe, but that's
I doubt it. I doubt they do.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
what do you expect to gain from that? I don't know. It's school, you know, the whole you're not going to win.
At that point, like if you know you lost over that, I would be scared to send my kid back to that school district.
Hey, they did.
Because it'd be kind of like they could retaliate against them.
Right.
That's what I'd be scared about, is the retaliation and repercussions for my kid.
From what I read, I don't think that was an issue. But, man, that wasn't...
That'd open up another lawsuit.
Right, yeah. But it's like, yeah. You know, if it didn't have the AR-15 on there, maybe a little bit more grounds, but, man...
Come get it. You could, because that could be like, come get the ball from me, or...
Or just to come and take it. Like, yeah that's part of history.
Yeah.
Come and take it. But then you had the AR-15 in the elementary school.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not the best decision. All right, well, that's all we have this week. So, Chris, we will go ahead and let you do your thing.
Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell. If you're listening on any of those platforms, please hit that follow button. And with that, everyone, have a good one.